Hey guys, my name is Grace, and this was my experience with the Drew Barrymore show. Okay, so the first step you guys are going to have to do is go onto One Iota and you're going to submit your request for a ticket lottery. The show is filmed in New York at CBS Studios. Make sure you follow the correct address because there's 2 CBS locations and you don't want to go to the wrong one. So my show was taped on November 12th. There's going to be 2 shows. It's going to be a morning show and an afternoon show. I had the morning show, and for the type of ticket I had, they recommended you arrive about 30 minutes early. When you get the ticket, it should have all the instructions and exact times to arrive. Definitely follow those instructions because once you miss the time for check-in, you don't get in. When I got there, I arrived about 30 minutes early, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I was honestly really nervous about getting in. The priority line was like super long. I was really nervous because the general line was so short that there wasn't gonna be enough seating for all of us, but fortunately everything worked out. They honestly checked everyone in pretty fast. You just had to show them your ticket and ID. I was basically in the CBS studios by 9:45. After you check in, they're going to give you a ticket and they're going to color code it, probably based on the number of guests you have, but I'm really not sure what the color means. Keep this because this is definitely your admission to get into the taping, and they can use this to help seat you. After I got in, it moved pretty fast. They had us sit in a waiting room that had popcorn and water, and they also had this cool like Dear Drew postcard. So basically I just took one as a souvenir, but you can actually write, I'm pretty sure, Drew Barrymore a letter because they had a little mailbox in the room as well. So I didn't see anyone do it, but you could definitely write her a bit of a post mail. I'm not really sure if she reads it, but I thought that was really sweet that they had like a Drew mail thing, or Dear Drew. So definitely something to do if you want to write her a little message. For our show, they gave us a QR code that had a bit of a survey on it for SPF and sunscreen, which kind of related to our show. I definitely would say they did not keep us waiting long, maybe like an hour if that, and pretty quickly we were basically on our way up to the studio. The set is really nice. I liked the design. It was a lot of her own products, I felt like, from her home line, so that was really cool to see that integrated into the set. When you get up there, you're going to give the casting director your ticket, and then they will help find your seat based I guess on how many people you have, or whatever. I'm really not sure. I will say that this is something interesting. There will be people in, like, I don't want to say bleachers, but just more seating that's a bit higher up, and then there is like a very small amount of floor seating. I wanted to be on the floor seating, but then I realized, like, if you want to be, I guess, kind of on screen, you probably don't want to be on the floor seating, because when I watched our episode, no one down there really got any visibility on the TV show. They did a lot of audience reaction shots in the bleachers. If that's something you care about, you'd probably want to be in like the bleacher section than on the floor. So after we got seated, Drew came out pretty quickly and greeted us and thanked us for being there. And then they started the show. So our show was actually airing on Veterans Day, which was that following Monday. So definitely, veteran focused. We had a few veterans come on and talk about their experience and all of that. And then we also had Scott Sheldon. I'm a bit young for him, but apparently big 90s heartthrob, if you guys know him. He was there, he was cool. And they also had the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen chefs come and do a cooking demonstration, so that was really neat. And here are the clips of me on the show. This is something that you guys definitely want to keep in mind. So they ask you to specifically wear jewel tone clothing. A lot of people did not follow the rules at my taping. There was a lot of black and cream, so I would say if you want to stand out a bit, definitely wear those colors. I definitely feel like I stood out. I was like not even in a great spot, honestly, in my opinion, but I felt like just like watching it back, you can really see how the color pops on the screen. So definitely something to keep in mind if you're going to the show. Definitely consider wearing the jewel tone colors if you have it. If not, they pretty much will let you in as long as you're following the dress code, no logos, nothing inappropriate. Pretty simple. So a couple of other fun things about this show is I actually got an email from a producer a few days before the taping, and they asked if I was interested in being in a pumpkin pie eating segment or just talking pumpkin pie. A bit random, but then it made sense for the show because they did have a pumpkin pie recipe that they wanted to highlight. But it was interesting. I did respond, and they also said if you didn't want to talk about pumpkin pie, you could also respond and say we had other segments available that they were possibly going to shoot. So like I I said, I did respond. I did not get a response. And it was interesting because the entire taping I was there, no one in the audience really got called to the stage. There was no audience participation really besides the survey they had us do. I will say Drew did talk to people individually during her like Drew's news segment, where she did call on people to ask questions, and they did answer with the microphone, but none of that made air actually. I guess they had to cut it for time. So just something to consider, that even if you do have a little bit of a speaking segment, it may get cut, but it's still cool to have the opportunity to communicate with her, because you'll probably never get that again. So just something to consider. But yeah, I thought it was really nice that they emailed, and definitely something to consider if they do it for the next show. So finally, I'm going to show you guys the cool merch we got from the show, from the sponsors. So remember how I said we did the SPF quiz? So basically the audience got most of the questions right and we passed. Pretty sure either way we were getting the products, but we passed and they gave us these cool products. So we got number 7 eye serum, damage reversal serum, night cream, and day cream with SPF, which is really nice. They sponsored part of the SPF segment of the show. And then again, remember we said America's Test Kitchen was there, so they gave us their new recipe book with over 500 recipes. So I'm really excited to go through this. It's a bunch of recipes that I'm definitely gonna make. And one more thing, so I was there, I talked to a couple of producers just to get a little bit of behind the scenes info, and I asked them, do they really have to turn away people? Is that something that happens? They said, no, there's normally plenty of seating. In fact, they've had people on the street just walk by on slow days and they've been able to get them in for a ticket. It's really just gonna depend on who is in the lineup that day. So for example, if it's someone big or something huge is going on, like the Wicked press right now, that's obviously gonna be a high in demand show. So for something like that, I would recommend probably getting there like an hour early just to be safe. They said they are pretty flexible. They said that the theater seats about 150 to 200 people, which is plenty of people. I don't even think we had that many people show up for our taping. And again, I asked them when was the next time I could come back to go to the show again, and they said you're normally allowed to come once every season, so that's about once every 6 months. However, if One Iota lets you get another ticket again, feel free to go, but they are allowed to deny you access into the building, because if other people have not been there and you have, and it's a space issue, it is a bit risky. So just something to keep in mind if you do want to go again. I'm definitely gonna go again. I will probably wait till the next season, so then like I said, 6 months. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing these fun events. Thank you, One Iota, for the access. I really appreciate that, and stay tuned for the next one, because I'm going to the Kelly Clarkson show next week.